All right, folks, we're going to hear from a pro-debt deal congressperson in just a second. But before we get to that, I wanted to look at what's in this deal. And we start with this. We've got the debt ceiling suspended till 2025. We mentioned that. That means after the next election. And we do have caps on spending, but not on defense. There's some unspent COVID funds that are returned, about $29 billion worth. Welfare is tinkered with, you could say, but no real overhaul. There are funds to enforce tax rules on wealthy Americans. That was cut back some, but a lot of people still not happy with how much money is going toward more IRS agents. And it is easier to get energy project permits. And you know who that matters to? Joe Manchin in West Virginia. So that may have been a way to get his vote. Now let's look at some of the members of Congress, especially conservatives, who are expected to vote against this. At least 34 GOP House members, their names scrolling here. Possibly more could hop on board who could vote no on the deal after this passes. If it does, it will head to the Senate and then crisis avoided or averted until 2025. But let's look at what the real problem is, how much we spend. How much is $1 trillion? Well, if you took $100 bills and put them not end to end, but on top of each other, $1 million, it goes up 3 feet, and you've got 2/3 of a mile higher than the world's tallest building is $1 billion. $1 trillion, look at this, 631 miles high. And folks, that's just $1 trillion. And we owe as a country almost $32 trillion. Kat.
Incredible. And when you see all of those dollars stacked up like that, it really shows you how much money we're talking about. You hear the terms trillion, billion thrown around all the time, and you just think, well, that's a lot of money. But now looking at this, Bob, I mean, that really is a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. One congressman who is voting for the Biden-McCarthy debt deal, I should say, is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, thank you for joining us here. Give us a feel for why you do support this bill.
Look, I wish we could have gotten a better deal. I look at this realistically. I'm a conservative, probably one of the most strongest conservatives in the last 40 or 50 years in the state of New York. I talked to Thomas Massie about this a lot. Let me tell you something. He's probably the most conservative fiscally person who served in Congress that I've known ever. But I feel like we're negotiating on a debt ceiling bill, not an appropriations package. And this bill is, we have basically a pair of twos. And the Democrats, including Chuck Schumer and the White House, have a royal flush. So anything that we can get out of this deal to get them to go with us, to get permitting reform, which is critical, to everywhere but New York, because we don't allow our natural gas to be extracted in the state of New York, which is devastating us. We also have, for us to be able to get some kind of compromise in the event that we actually go back to regular order in the 12 appropriations bills. This is the Massey plan. The last time we did that, I was a freshman member of Congress, and we did this in regular order. We didn't get a lot of credit for it, but the Massey plan will actually cut taxes, or cut spending. We also averted, I just mentioned taxes, we also averted what Joe Biden really wants to do is raise taxes. I come home to my district every weekend and people are suffering. We have huge amounts of debt. We have huge amounts of spending. We flooded our marketplace with the Fed with cash. Inflation, high energy costs are hurting our constituents. We also have a lot of people in my state who are seniors, who are dependent on special services like veterans and people with special needs and seniors who want the United States debt not to be crashed and burned by a bill that we could have actually gotten a clean debt ceiling. Remember the last time that a debt ceiling was negotiated, I wasn't here. President Trump did a clean debt ceiling for $6.5 trillion in new spending. That's $2.5 trillion less than what's in this bill. We can't control what the Democrats are doing, but what we can do is going forward, control the appropriations process. So this is step one. I see a lot of good stuff in here. The work requirements are going to be critical in New York, where a lot of this SNAP is going to apply, where we're finally going to see some of these waivers, and those waivers are actually going to help our constituents get people back to work. I represent the largest agricultural district in the entire Northeast. If we don't get people back to work, growing, producing on our farms, we're going to see our economy get even worse. So it's critically important that we have those work requirements in there. As I say, it's not a perfect deal, but I'll tell you what Tom Massey said, which I love. He said this in conference yesterday. He said, look, I woke up this morning as an engineer and as a problem solver, and I said I should vote yes. He said, as a politician, I would vote no. And I really believe what he's saying is at this point, we don't have a lot of leverage, and we've got to go to step 2, and us sticking together against the Democrats is
All
critical.
right. Okay.
Yeah, all right, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, thanks for the insights there and really explaining why you are planning to vote for this bill. We appreciate it.